Hello everyone, to those just joining, to everyone watching things back on the VOD, whether it's here on Twitch or on YouTube, depending on when you're watching this. Hello, welcome to another stream. Welcome to another Sunday, and that means it's time for another game dev stream. I'm pretty happy to be doing this kind of thing on like a more regular basis rather than it being a thing that I do every so often because it keeps me motivated to keep doing this, but at the same time it gives me more of a chance to show people like anything I may or may not have been working on in the background since like other like game dev streams. It's a nice little opportunity for me to sort of go into things that have been changed and adjusted and things that are different now. Um, so yeah, I'm gonna find music to use on Opera because I have not had any open for a while. This is um yeah, I have not been prepped for things music wise today, which is kind of poor, but it happens. But I'll turn up the channel in OBS because I may as well, but I'm trying to think. Screw it, more Xenoblade. More Xenoblade. Long night in Xenoblade. Instead of a long day, it'll be a long night in Xenoblade. Or it'll be an extra long night. There we go. Because most of the time I just go for an extra long day in Xenoblade. I don't go for like all the nighttime stuff when all the nighttime things in the Xenoblade games are very peaceful. So, it's a good compliment for things like a sort of slow and chill game dev stream. Anyway, there we go. Right, Ryder is all up on stream now. So in terms of changes that I have made, to say stuff like the enemies. So if you can remember from last stream, so for people who weren't here at all, or people who are new, last week during stream, I mostly worked on like enemy AI stuff. I was tweaking some things with how I changed the player controls because there was a thing that I forgot to do with the stomping, which it works now. But in terms of the AI, I was mainly working on I already had like a little like customizable patrol route for not just like ground enemies but flying enemies as well. Also, the editor is being a bit slow for some reason. There we go. But I already had a customizable patrol route for floating and like grounded enemies. They can loop if they wanted to, and so on and so forth. And the one thing I was working on was the actual sort of AI perception, so them being able to sort of use the perception component to see the player, register the player as a source, like a stimuli source, which basically means that if it is a stimuli source, then it can be detected, and if they detect that player, that stimuli source, then it will do a thing that basically says, yeah, chase the player, do that. And it took me a bit to sort of get this working because I had not properly worked with the AI perception stuff in Unreal Engine since I was in university, which is kind of crazy. Also made hot chocolate for the stream because it's the weather's slowly turning, it's slowly getting colder, so may as well. Also, I love me some hot chocolate. But anywho, so hadn't worked on like using the AI perception stuff since I was in university. I eventually got it working towards the end of the stream, which I was pretty happy with. Though there were some small issues that I was having with like if you got too close to the enemy, then it would just like return to the patrol mode, which was kind of weird. So the day after that stream, I was doing some work on things because I thought, well, I was doing it in blueprints. I was mainly doing this in blueprints. What if I wanted to instead get this working in C++? And while that was like fairly straightforward, adapting some of the stuff from blueprint to C++, it came with its own little hiccup as well. So if I go into... Oh, wait, why am I... Oh, that was weird. You can see it, but in OBS, for some reason, I clicked on the scene where I have my rider code, like, all set up, but I was dragging the scene around, which was kind of... eh? But, anyway, so... Of course, I have the ground enemy, as well as the aerial enemy now, of course. In the base enemy class... Oh wait, no, I didn't do this in the enemy class, I did this in the enemy controller. Because, what you're supposed to do with AI perception components is you're not supposed to attach them to the... you're not supposed to attach them to the enemy character at all. You're supposed to attach them to the enemy controller, which is something I found out through, like, looking at different videos and stuff. Also, I don't think Opera is... Oh, no, it is. I just need to turn it up a little bit more. But you're supposed to attach it to the enemy controller in order for it to, you know, work properly. So, you know, delegated this to the AI controller instead of being within the actual, like, enemy class. So, you know, to get this stuff kind of working. And also, there's some specific things that need to be called from the enemy controller in order for things to work. So, and I'm still a little bit gunked up, so every so often I'll just be taking breaks so I'm not, like, wearing myself out too much, so bear with. Anyway, so we have of course, we already had the blackboard and the behavior tree component, which was, you know, already part of the enemy controller from when I made it initially. But the main things I want to focus on are here. Also, these things here. We have the AI perception component, which is, you know, the perception component that gives the AI its different senses, so sight, hearing, and so on. And specifically for the sight config, we have the sense config sight, which is needed for this. Then we have this method here. And if we go into the editor, if I can find any... I think I got rid of it, but if I can find... If I still go into blueprints, enemies, grounded enemy... So, of course, I'll be... I mean, of course it's taking its time, because it always does. It always does when you open something for the first time after booting up the editor. Like, it stutters for... It hangs for a little bit opening the window. But... shouldn't be too long. So, hopefully, that it chooses to actually play nice. Oh, yep, that should be doing it now. Yep, there we go. So I got rid of the AI perception component on the enemy itself because it isn't needed anymore, but I'll re-add it just for a moment to sort of explain things. So AI perception, la-di-da, so this is the AI perception, of course. What I basically, if you remember, which you may not, which is okay, so I'll explain it. Basically, in order for, like, whenever the AI perception detects a stimuli target, it will call on-target perception updated. So, when it sees a stimulus target, then it will sort of call this method, and through this it was saying, oh, does the stimulus use this thing? Like, does it use this config, or is it registered for this config? is the actor that was detected from this the player, and so on and so forth. And then if this was done, then it would set the different, like, things within the blackboard. So it would say that the target has been found and that they can see the player and so on, or it would set the, or in the case of the AI that we have, it would set the state from passive to attack. So it would start chasing the player. So that's what it would do in the blueprints. In the code, I essentially adapted that to here within the controller, but in order for, like, this is what I learned the hard way when I was trying to set this up in code. In order for things to be properly configured, first you need to configure the sense. Sorry, I'm just drinking this hot chocolate. It's pretty good. I'll get to it in a moment. I did a damn good job with it today. Pretty happy with that. Anyway, so site config. What I was doing beforehand, before I worked out, oh, this is what I was doing wrong, was I was setting the dominant sense, and then configuring the sense, and then, like, or I was doing configure sense after everything else. When you're supposed to set configure sense, or do configure sense, no, you need to set the perception component first, then configure the site config, so configure the sense for site, and then once you've done that, you can just go in, like, set the radius, set, like, what distance the AI loses sight, their peripheral vision, how long a stimuli source's age can be before it loses detection, auto success range from last seen location, so if not an invalid range, we will always be able to see the target that has already been seen if they are within this range of their last seen location. So basically, if the player is within that range, then they will already be able to always be able to see them. Then, of course, we configure the detection by affiliation, so for enemies, friendlies, and neutrals to be true in order for things to work properly. Because I don't know how to essentially set what is an enemy, what is a friendly, and what is a neutral. It's kind of weird. Then we set the dominant sense for the perception component. So sight is the dominant sense. And then, as I explained for the on-target perception updated thing within the blueprints, that also kind of exists as well, but within code, within the definition of an AI perception component within C++, you need to have a delegate function that you call in order for this to, like, actually work. So in the H file, we have detected target, and then down here we or do we have it down there? Or it might be. Oh yeah, no, this is a blueprint implementable event, right? So this is basically implemented within the blueprint, the enemy controller blueprint itself, right? So so also a thing that I have added as well in the code. Also, I don't really need setup perception anymore, actually, now that I realize it, because originally I thought, oh, like, having this all set up in begin play will work, but no, you could just do it in the constructor and it will be fine. So maybe I'll get rid of that, but I have a toggle in the enemy class, which again will be accessed using the enemy interface. So it will check whether the toggle is set to true or false for, like, should it activate the like the AI perception. If if it's set to true, then it will auto-activate. If it's set to false, then it won't activate. Though I don't know if this one actually works, or if I need to do something different entirely in order to make sure that it doesn't turn on or off or whatnot. So I need to actually test this out. So first little bit of stream, we'll be testing things. We'll be making sure things are working as they should be, because while I did test most things to make sure, like, oh yeah, this implementation in the code is actually working, I need to make sure that this works. So for this enemy here, so activate AI perception will be turned to off. So I want to check if this enemy will still detect the player with their AI perception. I want to see if this is still active, is what I'm trying to say. So also, one thing I'm wanting to try and do with, like, flying enemies is that in, like, I'm going to use Spyro as an example, because Spyro is, like the classic Spyro games are, like, one of my main inspirations for this, or trying to make this, is with, like, some of the flying enemies, yeah, some of them would just fly towards you and hurt you, but some of them would just kind of, like, fly around in rings and just kind of not do anything. They were just kind of there in the background. Sometimes they would, like, shoot things at the player, but other times they would just kind of fly around. Like, alright, so that doesn't work. Right. Okay, cool. Good to know. Alright, so now that we've tested that, and we know that that doesn't work, I should also probably open Clip Studio as well for when I want to doodle and explain things, because I have not done that yet. I haven't opened Clip Studio at all today, because today was work. Today was mostly like a chill day after work, but I did do a little bit of video scripting. I have plotted out some points a bit more, but I haven't actually fully fleshed things out. But I can't wait to actually get to finishing it, because I am excited to get it all done. Same goes for uploading the death compilation video, which should be tomorrow. Tomorrow should be the point when I should finally have it, like, out there, which, you know, happy with. Finally happy with that. So 800 by 800. Right, Clip Studio is open for now, for when we need to close the editor and the code and everything. So that doesn't work. That is not working, which is kind of concerning. So we're gonna go in. It's probably a small fix. It might be set active. Right, yeah, it's set active. So to be fair, that was kind of my fault for assuming that that would work. But, yeah, no, it's set active, not be auto activate, which is, like, that's more of a thing that you set before, like, runtime, not during runtime. So, now we know. Also, I'm also going to take this opportunity to remove setup perception, because, like, as I said before, because everything's being done within the constructor rather within that method, there is no point in keeping that there. It's basically useless. It just serves no purpose. So we're removing that, like, not just from the CPP file, but also the header. So, like, header file is being changed. So this definitely calls for, like, deleting the, like, regenning all the project files, basically, is what I'm trying to say. So I'm also losing myself in Windows Explorer, because that happens sometimes. Right. So I'm also going to do a little doodle to just say... Oh wait, I don't have my normal drawing color. Hold on. I need to grab one from my emote, just from an emote, just so I have the right one. There we go. Yeah, so that basically, when I'm not, I'll make another little tab for doodling and stuff, but that will basically be what I mostly throw the stream on when I'm getting rid of, like, the binaries, intermediate, and saved folders, and, like, regenerating the project files and everything. So, you know, it's not just, like, a blank screen the entire time. So, there's something there at the very least. And this way, I can get things done and sorted a bit quicker than I normally would. So, at the moment, if I'm to illustrate things, so of course we have... So if we were to break this down, we have, of course, we have the AI. We have it following the patrol path, which is custom. If it is toggled on, we have the AI using its eyes to see the player. Which, you know, that's all well and good and all. That's perfectly fine. Because, you know, that's one of the main things we want from, like, a patrolling AI, or an AI to just react to the player. And of course, the patrol only happen if assigned route. So they will only patrol if a patrol route is assigned, and they will only use AI sight only if toggled. So if the toggle is set to true, then they will use their AI sight, they will see the player, and then they will move to chase them. Okay, so that's what we've got so far for the AI, or for some of the AI. However, in terms of, like, variances, like, we have AI that... Hold on, let me actually start, properly regenning the project before I, go into this, because otherwise I'm going to lose my, yeah, right, so that's generating now. So the thing with the AI is that, like, we only have AI that chases the player. And I know that I said, like, you know, we're getting just two basic, like, enemy AI types for, like, a test level, which, you know, it's fine enough. Like, we basically have the two enemy types. At the moment, they don't do anything aside from, like, patrolling and chasing. They don't, like, properly attack yet, and that's something that I'm intending to fix. But one thing I'm wanting to do is that, like, in Spyro itself, it's kind of difficult to, like, say it, like, explain it, but hold on, let me see if there's any gifts or anything to sort of, um... Because, you know, you haven't, like, in the Spyro games, you have enemies that taunt, like, Spyro. Or at the very least in the original. I mean, it's kind of present in Spyro 3 as well. Right, so I can't find a gift for this, which kind of sucks. But in the case of Spyro 3, for example, like in the first level, I'm just gonna try horribly drawing. I'm not even gonna try drawing Spyro from memory because this is gonna be terrible. I'm just gonna use like a little circle. So that's Spyro, and we have an enemy right here. So in the first level that you can go to in Spyro 3, which is Sunny Villa, you'll have some enemies which are called like Coward Rhinox, and they hold shields. Like they only hold shields. They will cower behind shields, and they will either stay in one spot, not do anything, and just like as like Spyro like moves around them, they will just turn to face them. So they will they'll have AI perception. They'll turn to face Spyro because they'll see where Spyro is moving to, and then adjust like where they're turning to see him. Or alternatively, when Spyro approaches them or runs towards them, which I guess it doesn't really matter if it's just like a walk or if it's a run. Also, I need to grab my water because I put it over near my bed. Sorry about that. I'll just be a moment. But yes, like these enemies, they'll either stand still, cowering in one spot, and turning to face Spyro, or as Spyro approaches them, the enemies themselves will run away. I think the enemies have like a predetermined path that they run in. From like, if memory serves, either they have a predetermined path where they run in, or they just run like just opposite from where Spyro currently is at the moment. So I'd say the former makes a bit more sense in terms of like enemies running away, because like I think once they reach the end of the path where they run on, they just stay in one spot anyway, and then you could just kill them. But my point is that I don't want just enemies that, you know, chase the player. I want enemies that run away either because they're cowardly or because they're running away to lure the player into a trap. That one would probably be a little bit more complicated, but or that would have to be linked to some kind of like level set piece maybe, but that's more on the level design kind of thing. And I am not the greatest at level design, though I'm hoping through doing this kind of stuff that maybe in the future it gets better, if that makes sense. It's kind of odd. Like, it's kind of odd. God. Ow. Right, that's the content browser. There we go. So yeah, basically, I am hoping to have enemies, like, respond differently as well. That's a slow process, and I feel like that would vary, of course, with like different behavior trees and stuff, because you know behavior trees are very like configurable. But that would also be some kind of a toggle, maybe. I'm very you know future thoughts, future thoughts. So note enemies that. Oh my god, oh my fucking god, the word or looked like a stick man carrying a massive bag and now I cannot unsee. Okay, maybe, Oh wait, I was holding onto the edge of the pen, whoops. Like the side where there's like a button that kind of makes the, drawing weird. Hello, Zazel, by the way. Wait, that's a bit too big. Right. And now we have a little stick man holding a bag. Anyway, note, enemies that run away. I didn't finish the A here. Whoops. But yeah. Also, hello, I think I was passed out for the light. Oh, well that happens. I overslept today, a little bit. I was almost late for work. So, you know, everyone has their problems. Anyway, the editor is back open now, so hopefully, let's test that change, because, where is the... Right, so activate AI perception is... Right. So hopefully, if this change works, then the enemy should actually not be able to use their AI perception at all when this is toggled to false. So... You know, toggle to false, it won't... It's... Of course, it takes its moments to start up on... Start play mode, please. There we go. Right. So... Oh, it's still... Okay, that's... kind of frustrating. Because it's toggled to off. So... Unless... Right, let's check... Let's check temp ground enemy, because I need to... Because this should be working. So... So class settings... Inherited interfaces, nav agent interface, TP enemy... Yeah, so it has the enemy interface. It should be able to get the enemy in... So... Hold on. Rider is not open. Whoops. Right, I need to open the code back up because I need to look at what's going on with this. Right, this will be in the... No, it's not... No, wait, no. It would be in... It technically would, but it's also mainly in the enemy controller, which is... the more pressing concern, considering the fact that it's being a little bit fucky. Yes. Yes. Yes! Just check and see if you'd seen my Jenny babies. No, I haven't. Right. Sorry about that. Yes, the enemy controller, right. So begin play. If... I need to check if things are actually... Alright, I'm not focusing on Rider. Whoops! Right, I need to check if things are actually working here. get should activate perception. But now I need to see if I actually get should activate perception implementation. Oh. Return B. Activate AI perception. Right, so this was kind of my fault. Originally, I was gonna go in and see, like, oh, is this, you know, is this actually executing at all? But I think we found the issue. So back into Clip Studio while, no, we're not letting the background tasks, wait. Actually, no, I probably should have let the background tasks run in Clip Studio. No, not in Clip Studio, in Rider. In Rider! Before doing anything like that. I should have waited. I got impatient. But I just want to fix this issue so I can test it. Because, it would be cool to get through it. Hmm. Did I... No, it didn't. It didn't open right. You lied to me. It lied to me. I clicked to open Rider and it didn't open Rider. Right, so it did do that. Okay. Right. Now we'll go over to Clip Studio and close everything, and then get rid of the binaries, intermediate and save files once things have like settled. So anyway, so we have enemies that I feel like I'm just going to keep opening pages in Clip Studio, so I have like separate little doodle boards so I can explain like different ideas separately, and then also revisit ideas if people want to know like what I've been doodling, like if they come into stream late, you know, just so people don't feel left out and the like, if that makes sense. So also, I'm occasionally getting the feeling of head extremely empty, and you know, that's never a good sign. So as I said, we've got enemies that run away. That's an idea that I want. That's what I want to try and implement as well. We have enemies that run away, possibly either as a coward or as a way of luring the player into traps or something, but that's a level design thing. I also want there to be... Like, this is me once again summoning knowledge from... Like playing Spyro 3 on stream, but... And people may not remember this, because, you know, it's been a few months since I had that playthrough, so, you know, like, you may not necessarily remember it, but in one of the levels, I'm just gonna doodle, like... I'm not accurately drawing the enemies, because, that will take a bit of effort, but... if you remember, there was the one level with all the cat wizards, like the evil cat wizards, and they could do like things within the environment, the level environment. So they could basically they could raise like stairs, but then turn them back into a slope. They could move like blocks as like little platforms. But one thing they could also do is they could take another enemy and they could take an enemy, like so, and they could enlarge them. They could make the enemy larger. And while this is not like the whole thing that I want to try and attempt, although this would be a pretty cool thing to do, the main thing that I am wanting to sort of point out, and like this is not just a thing in Spyro 3, although it is the one that's of course fresh in my mind at all times, because you know, Spyro 3, childhood game, thing that I grew up with, so it's basically burned into my memory, is that I want there to be enemies that interact with other enemies in particular ways. I can't remember, like, if I can't remember if it happens in Spyro 3 or if it's like the other games, but there will be enemies that like can throw other enemies and the like, and it's that kind of enemy interaction that I kind of miss in games, because you don't really have, like, in other games, you don't have, like, an enemy that will pick up another enemy and then proceed to bowl them away towards the player. Like, you wouldn't really have that in most games nowadays. You don't have, like, a game where an enemy will just see a smaller enemy, be like, "Oh, you small, me big, I'm going to throw you." And then they just throw them at the player, either hurting them or just putting them in the perfect position for an attack, or having an enemy that drops and, like, flies and drops another enemy in. Like, you don't get that too often, which kind of sucks. Like, you get, like, transport ships and stuff in, like, and portals in other games, but you don't really get enemies that, you know, fly in, dropping other enemies off, but still being there for, like, the combat and stuff like that, or serving as a challenge to impede the player in their progression. You don't really have that anymore. It's not all too common. Oh gosh, sorry about that. Anyway, like, not just like retreating enemies. I want to try and be able to bring back like enemies that interact with one another and stuff. I'm trying to think of like if there's been any recent examples of enemies that do that, but nothing really springs to mind. Like, nothing really kind of sticks out for me. For the most part, enemies just kind of act on their own, like, they act on their own prerogative. Sometimes they do things that affect other enemies. Like, for example, and I'm going to open up another window in Clip Studio. This is just going to be the pattern now. Every single time I want to illustrate a separate point or a separate thought, then I'm going to throw out another tab in Clip Studio, because screw you, that's why. But anyway, for example, like in Destiny 2, the Scorn, like, you have, like, the Scorn chieftains. I'm not drawing them all, like, drawing the whole thing, I'm just drawing, like, the helmet and whatnot, because, you know, this is basically the helmet they wear. It's, like, it's like there. But say you have, like, a Scorn chieftain, and you have, like, a bunch of other, like, related enemies, like, Scorn enemies, like lurkers and raiders and screebs and stuff. And, for example, one of the, like, Scorn chieftains come in 3 different types. They come in the Arc type, the Void type, So they come... Oh, that's Unreal reopening now. But chieftains come in 3 types. They come in like Void, Arc, and Solar. The one I'm thinking of in particular is Void, because every so often, what a Void chieftain will do, they'll throw out all of them throw out totems. They all throw out totems which do a thing. What movement options have I already planned / made for the player? So so before I finish explaining this, I will go back into the engine and demonstrate those, because I've already got quite a few in place. So before I test things with the enemy, of course it's going to take its time as well, because I just recompile things again. But I think it slowly gets faster, a little bit faster, but it's still slow, if that makes sense. Right, so we have, of course, normal walking. We have sprinting with the added sort of camera zoom, which makes it, give the sense of you moving faster, which some people kind of ignore, which is, it's an important little thing, little effects that make it sort of convey the sense that you are moving faster. So we have that. We have, of course, we have, hold to jump. So if I just tap the spacebar, the player will just hop. If I hold the jump, then they will do the full jump. They have they have 2 air dashes, which, it took me a little bit to get this working, but it works fine. It works lovely. It works great. So we have air dashes. We have wall sliding, which, of course, is kind of... At the moment, it only works, if you're truly facing it kind of almost straight on, which I kind of want to fix it so that, 1, it reaches further, and 2, if it hits the wall, then it just snaps the player to the wall, to face the wall instead, so that they're sliding down straight on the wall. But we have wall sliding, we have wall jumping, which is directional, and the reason it's directional is because I wanted to make it like the Mario games, where if you go at a wall at a certain angle and jump away from it, you jump away at, you basically jump away at the same angle, but the opposite one. So, of course, if you jump straight on, you jump straight on. If you jump diagonally, then you'll jump diagonally. Of course, there were some, little tweaks that I made recently, which is, mostly to do with, air control for the player. Though I do want to adjust it a little bit more, maybe. Because maybe I may want the player to have a little bit more control over, how they adjust where they are in the air. But, that's wall jumping, wall sliding, the air dashes, and then we have stomping as well. So that kind of, you can destroy, objects that are tagged to be, stompable objects. Like that little cube there. The other 2 over there aren't marked with that interface, so they can't be destroyed by stomping. But yeah, so stomping to quickly get back down to the ground, and most of the stuff has little squash, manually coded squash and stretch stuff, so which I like the look of. But yeah, that's mainly the movement stuff for the player. I'm not sure about anything else planned out at the moment, though as I said, I do want to adjust the wall slide so that it also extends to here, but also when it hits the wall, it just snaps the player to look towards the wall instead. Because, that would make sense. And I'm pretty sure that's what happens in the Mario games as well, where even if you go at the wall at an angle, if you let Mario slide down a wall, then he will snap to the wall instead, rather than, just looking at it diagonally. But yeah, that's the, stuff, movement, mechanics that I have made so far. I don't have crouching or anything, which, I don't think it's needed, so, right. Okay, no, that's still... Right, now... Right, so I did change the thing in the enemy's code, but it feels like there's something I'm missing. I mean, I know I made it a blueprint implementable event, but that shouldn't be the... That shouldn't make any difference. Okay, so how about making an enemy who, once it spots it... So, once it spots the player, slash activates once a player or another enemy runs past them, it makes changes to the current route to either make the player rely on different movement options or provide advantageous... So it's pretty complicated. Yeah. I mean, that would be interesting. Like, you know, not as like a basic enemy that you run into, but more of a sort of thing that you, like, see in later levels down the line. Because, sure, I do want to make it like a Spyro-inspired platformer, but I do want to have some essence of challenge as well. So that could definitely work as an idea for like a like an enemy in like a few like a stage later down the line in the game. So that's something to keep note of. Yeah, thanks, Nasal. But yeah, so that still isn't working, which is, unless I had the toggle set on, I can't remember. Where are you? It is set to off. So that still isn't working, which is kind of concerning, so I do need to actually run the other little tests. My slightly tired brain, imagine a Magnemite Pokemon stuck in a wall surveying the air and parry it for that. Ah! I love when imagination is like that vivid, because you sometimes get some of your better ideas that way. But yeah, so that's how it was working. But the thing I was illustrating, here, like, in terms of, like, not, like, directly interacting with enemies, but kind of indirectly doing it, so with the Destiny 2 example, Void Chieftains, like, all the Chieftains throw out totems, but the Void one in particular was the one I was thinking about, because what it does, basically, is that when it throws out its Void totem, it will shield enemies, so... Like, it will shield enemies. The player can't damage, like, the enemies that are shielded by the totem until they destroy the totem. And they can either just shoot the totem directly, or they can kill the chieftain, at which point the totem will just explode. But that's my point about, like, games don't do it directly too often, when you have an enemy directly interacting with other types of enemies. Or other enemies in their faction. Whereas a lot of games nowadays just kind of do it indirectly. And that is a bot. I do kind of like, so kind of a tangent, kind of a weird off-topic thing, but I do kind of like how in OBS, when there is a... someone who is marked as a likely ban evader, and it just marks them as that, so I can see, like, oh, this is definitely a ban. It feels like the bots have like, the people running some of these bots have kind of given up on, like, making bot accounts that seem like they're normal people, like, hey, how are you? I followed you on Twitter, can you please follow me back? And instead they're just resorting to the, buy viewers on this website, which is definitely not a virus. It's definitely a virus. Yeah, thank you, OBS, for marking that as a likely ban evader. Yeah, they do be botting. They don't give up, but the way they bot is kind of different to what I had, like, before. But maybe it's a kind of thing where they just kind of alternate. They kind of alternate between the types of bots that they unleash. Which is a funny thing. Also, fuck, I got another idea for an enemy, and it's kind of specific, and mostly based on me playing XCOM 2 recently. Alright, go on. Go off, then. Oh, it's a fucking... I hate this song. I dislike We Are the Chosen Ones. Right, anyway, back to code. Because... Yeah, I definitely did this. So, this is work... This is there. But now I'm thinking, is this actually executing this? So... Of course I'll wait for, like, the loading projects thing to do. Dropping good vibes, but got to go. Have a good stream. Thank you for dropping by, even if it's just for dropping the vibes off. Thank you, Flared. I hope you have a good night. Take care. But yeah, I'll wait for the loading project thing to do this thingamajiggy, but, I am wanting to try and put in some checks to try and see, like, what the hell's going on, to see if this code is actually executing. Because if it's not, then we kind of have a problem. Also, I am eager to hear this idea of yours, Zazel. Right, so I'll have two logs thrown in here, just for the sake of, you know, just for the sake of making... No, actually, I'll have the two logs in here, but then I'll also have a log in the actual method that's being called, because... So we'll have that there, but then we'll also have... Whew. Sorry. Oh. Again, I am just bunged up with cold again. It's awful. Having a robot enemy run ahead of the other enemies and becoming like a stationary wall they can use as a cover. Like, probably not, though I can definitely take some elements of that. Like, I'd have to pick it apart and see what could and couldn't be used in the context of the platformer, but some of those ideas could definitely be a thing. Anyway, I've typed up what I needed to type up in the code. Now we're resetting all the project files again, because this is quicker than actually compiling normally. And I'm being genuinely serious. This method that I'm doing is, infinitely faster than, you know, actually just compiling from source normally. Except for when an error appears and then I have to actually go into the source. I did mention this was very specific and based on a few skills from it. Yeah. That's fair, that's fair. You did say that. You did say that, so... But I am, like, definitely saying that if possible, and depending on how I break it down, then some ideas could be sort of lifted and reworked. If that makes sense. So... But yeah, I mean, to be fair, it's not like any games have never tried to, you know, take ideas from another genre and work it in, because it has happened. So I need to regen those files now, because I... Yep, speaking of, thank you, Nightbot. Very cool. I am remembering what to do next, and it's to actually open the project. Listen, okay, I do my best with trying to remember what I need to do within sequence, but sometimes I do just kind of forget. It happens every so often. God. I do dislike having a cold, though. It's always this time of year. Like, so that shouldn't take too long. So I've already explained some things like with... Also, I don't think I asked this, but what is your main idea? So, my main idea, and I probably explained it like a couple of times before, but don't mind explaining it again, because I always like explaining what my whole reason for it, but... I was mainly inspired by, like... I was mainly inspired by, the original Spyro games, so Spyro's 1, 2, and 3. Mainly Spyro 3, and I want to make it like a little collectathon platformer, like a PS1 style collectathon platformer, which is why I'm doing so, like, specific things with, like, not having, like, dynamic lighting in the light, and trying to have a vertex displacement shader on the model, which is why things look a bit weird in the project. And also trying, like, eventually wanting to try and learn how to, like, create, like, PS1 style character models. Which, of course, would take its time, but, that is, like, my aim. I do want to try and make a PS1 style game, because it would be so cool if I could do that. Like, there's other kinds of games that I want to try and make eventually, but this is it's a neat little starting point, honestly. It's not overly ambitious, but it's still giving me ideas to work with, if that makes sense. I'm not pushing myself so far, I am doing something that's manageable, if that makes sense. And I'm doing it at a pace that's manageable, even if it takes me a long time. God. Yeah. It's definitely taking a... There we go. Right, project is back open now. Yippee. Right, I also need to pop the content browser back into the... It always does this whenever I reset all the files. It has to pop the content browser in, which is kind of annoying. So, I want to mainly focus on the output log. I want to see what the enemy flags. I mean, it'll probably pop up from both enemies, so it will be a good idea to sort of check if it works for both of them. If it doesn't, like, if nothing appears at all from the logs, then I know that something's wrong. So let's see. Go up. Opponent has begin play. That's weird. Return. Alright, so it is calling it. It is calling it. So, detect a controlled character, implements the input interface, returning AI perception toggle. So it is calling it. It is calling it properly, which is my main concern. But for some reason, that is just not... Right, so there is another little adjustment I want to make based on this. So once again, we're going back into the code. I don't need this log here anymore because I know that it's calling this method. It's calling it properly. And I don't really need detected controlled character anymore. So what I'm wondering is... bool b activate perception, and I want this to receive this. And if this is true, so if this boolean is true, then of course I will want this to print a log. Right. Oop, whoops. Ouch. Anyway, so that's what I'm attempting to do. I kind of spaced out for a few moments. Sorry about that. So I don't need this here because no, wait, actually, it might be helpful to keep this here because no, I don't need to keep this here because all I'm doing is checking whether or not like it has been set to active or not. That's my main concern. Right, so once again, we're back at it again. We're resetting the project files because this is quick. It'll be nice and quick and effortless. So give it a few moments, because like you can't delete these folders while things are open. Yeah, nice and quick. 2 hours later. It won't be 2 hours later. That much I can guarantee. So intermediate and save, that's gen. Now we just need to... You're absolutely right, it will be 3 hours later. No! No! Gosh. It will not be 3 hours later, I promise. Oh god, I'm just realizing when... Because of course, at the moment I'm playing through Xenoblade Chronicles, like, Definitive Edition on stream, and of course I'm going to be doing the extra story in that game. Just, just because. Like, just because. But, I mean, to be fair, it's very important because, I will probably just plan on just playing through all of the Xenoblade games on stream. So, one, of course, being first, along with the future connected extra story that Definitive Edition introduced. Two, and of course, the, Torn of the Golden Country DLC, which, honestly, I would rather get the... Because I know you could just get it as a downloadable DLC, but I would rather get the physical copy separately, so I don't have to install shit onto my Switch. I mean, to be fair, I still find it crazy that Torn of the Golden Country, which is like a... Like, it was made as a story DLC, like, prequel thing for Xenoblade Chronicles 2. It was large enough of a like story bit that it got its own separate game card on the Switch. It got its own separate game card, which is crazy. So of course I'll be doing both of those, and then eventually be getting to Xenoblade Chronicles 3 and the Future Redeemed DLC, which, oh god, like that the song that was playing before this is from Future Redeemed, and quite honestly, that the ending of that DLC destroyed me. But yeah. But yeah, eventually I do want to get to that, but the ending of that DLC destroyed me for very spoilerific reasons, but God, that was I was not okay by the end of it. I was genuinely crying by the end of it because of how it ended. Like that, it devastated me. Xenoblade Chronicles 3 as a whole devastated me. Like, the normal main story of the game devastated me. There's a specific point in, like, normal Xenoblade Chronicle 3's story which is practically infamous in the community because, oh god. And I will only say the words Chapter 5. That is all I'll say. I will only say the words Chapter 5. That is all I'm going to say. But you will likely forget this by the time we get to play Xenoblade Chronicles 3 on stream. And that is fine. I am content with people forgetting that I make a slight allusion to a thing that happens within the third game. That was so distressing for me. It brought me to tears when I first played it. And I would much rather, like, it catch everyone off guard. But in, like, for all intents and purposes, that shit stuck with me. Oh god. It kind of became a thing for a while where I would go to, like, I would find other people's playthroughs of 3 on YouTube, and I would see how they reacted to the end of Chapter 5, start of Chapter 6. Because that shit is a mindfuck and a half, and, it was like some sick sense of, yes, you're also suffering through this now. But in actuality, I was reliving trauma. Anyway, back to this. Need to see if this is actually, like, returning the thing for both of them. If it returns for both of them, then that's kind of weird. It shouldn't be doing that. It should only ideally return for one of them. And if it returns for... Right, so let's see. Okay, that's weird. Let me scroll up a bit. Right, there's nothing there. That's... No. That's not the actual reason. That's not the actual reason. The actual reason is that, well... That Kingdom... Because remember my little formula of 3 playthrough streams? And then 2 break streams? And then 3 playthrough streams again? We're reaching the point where it's 2 break streams again. So... it will be Kingdom Hearts on Monday, then what I've labeled on Wednesday and Friday. Also, oh yeah, no, I made that one recently. I made that one recently on stream. Back at the end of August. Yeah, it was back at the end of August. After I got back from being away, because the Wednesday that week I didn't stream on the Monday that week either because I was not doing too good that day. But the Monday and the Wednesday that week, I didn't stream, and the Wednesday being because I was away for a few days. But then on the Friday, when I got back from being away, I just did an art stream just to unwind, and I was drawing that. And yeah, I did that as an emote. I thought, you know what? We already have a few redraws. Yeah, I like doing redraws as emotes, but yeah, that's kind of weird. Let's try running that again, because I swear to God. That's weird. Back into the... God, I was hoping to... The DS Tales emote lore expands. Yeah, I do like doing, like, on the odd occasion, like, most of, like, the emotes that Dragon drew, like, the follow thinking, follow happy, are JJK redraws. But, that was what she did. And then I did the IMU because I thought, you know what, this will work as a kind of, like, void or, like, depressed or, like, disappointed or whatever kind of emote. But my perplexed emote was, you know, I had a vision, like, I kind of did it, like, offhand, like, just kind of, like, from an idea from scratch. Though I was kind of also envisioning, hold on, let me find this Apollo. So if I save this to PNG, right, so I'll grab this PNG, go here, that's the subway surface and the bees. I'll make another image. So image, this is image 7 now, brilliant. Yeah, the perplexed emote, I kind of thought about this sprite from Apollo Justice. It's specifically Apollo thinking, where he's pressing his finger to his forehead. I had that in mind because I do that as well sometimes when I'm thinking. I think I kind of picked it up from this game, to just press my finger against my forehead when I'm thinking sometimes. But like, of course, in the emote, he's just kind of doing it with one hand, and he's not got, like, his other arm resting against, like, his arm that's pressed against his forehead. Or the arm with the hand that's pressed against the forehead, I mean. So, but I was kind of inspired by this when I was drawing my perplexed emote. And I don't mind doing that, because I do like taking inspiration from stuff. So, in the enemy controller... Right, I need to check things with the player. So in the player control, alright, I'm gonna go into... I keep forgetting! Anyway, what was I thinking? Oh yeah, I was checking the player controller. Where are you? TP player controller. Okay, yeah. So I need to check. So if get does implement interface, then if execute get move player move disabled. So that's in the player character. So I need to check. Oh, gosh, God. Alright, so I'm doing that in the same way. So for some reason, this isn't working. Again, jeez, it's just sneezing. Anyway, so that is doing. I'm essentially doing the same as I was doing, but this isn't being triggered for. Hey, so I got another idea that's mostly based on. Ah, right. So imagine an enemy that's a cute little guy driving a hamster wheel after the player. Its main gimmick is that in a straight line it builds up enough speed to outspeed the player, but it cannot turn whilst chasing the player. Oh right, yeah. It can try and predict what the player is trying to do. That could be cool. Yeah, no, that could work. God, oh gosh. But this should be working because it is execute. It is calling it. Right, return B activate. Yeah, it's B activate AI perception, which of course is toggled to false. Check Discord DMs to visualize what I'm talking. Yeah, without any. Yeah, no, that could work. Yeah, that would be cool. Yeah, that would be pretty cool. Yeah, but I can see what you mean. That would be pretty cool. So execute get should activate perception. Local variable can be made. Is that the reason? It can't be the reason why. Alright, so it's a constable. I should probably check in the end. So I should actually check on this side. So if B activate AI perception, UE underscore log temp warning text will disable perception. No, will activate perception and then else. No, why did the God. And then in here say will. I did not copy the U from UE log. I'm. Oh god, Ryder was frozen for a moment. Alright, so those will be there to run the check on this side. Because this is kind of confusing me a little bit. I am doing things that are similar to what I'm doing previously with the player, but in a different way, and for some reason it's just not working. So, we're going to... Not gonna lie, I'm currently looking at what games I have to see if I can find ideas for possible enemies that I can recommend. Like, no, like, that's fair enough. Like, because one thing I want to pride myself on, and I've always tried to pride myself on when it comes to, like, making games and whatnot, especially when I was at uni, when I was getting, like, playtest feedback for assignments and stuff, it was definitely a case of listening to people's opinions and suggestions for, like, things that could be improved, things that could be adjusted, and so on, and taking that into account. So I definitely want, like, if people have ideas that could be helpful when I'm, like, trying to think of something along the same lines or struggling to think of a certain thing, then it would be it's very nice when people have suggestions, because then, like, I'm taking people's feedback into account, unlike some devs that just opt not to listen to their player base. I can't remember. Oh. Like, honestly, I could probably also do the same in my spare time too. It's just that sometimes I don't have the time. Though then again, on one occasion, I did just kind of on the fly think about what would happen if, uh-oh. I might have done something wrong because when I was trying to build the project, I don't know if this is because of something that I did or something else, but apparently it's saying that it cannot build the project files, which means there is an error somewhere. Into the Breach, mostly because there are several... Oh yeah, I have that on my Epic Games account. I do... Oh wait, no, never mind. It's because I was... Solution loaded with one error. Hold on, yeah, no, I do have it on my Epic Games account. I just haven't played it, and I... Oh yeah, no, there was no error. To be fair, to be honest, I haven't played the game. Sorry, I was keeping an eye on whether or not things were working right. To be honest, I haven't played the game in a while, so I don't believe remember. I was gonna recommend you watch it so you'll be able to find various mechanics a bit quick. Yeah, no, yeah. To be fair, that's. I mean, it would be a bit easier, but at the same time, I do like experiencing some things myself. A while back, during the summer, so there was a video that Game Maker's Toolkit released about the 100 games he played to learn game design, and I wrote all 100 of them down. Quite a few of them on the list were ones that I had owned at the time, though I got one or two of the ones that were on the list just because I wanted to look at them. One of them was Shadows of Doubt, which I haven't played on stream, though I have played like in my own spare time, and I do enjoy it as like a sort of like detective murder mystery-esque game, and also how like things are just procedurally generated, and how you could just have like how it procedurally generates like NPCs with their own motivations and stuff, which is cool. Anywho, yeah, it's pretty good. Funnily enough, there's oh right, I didn't know. Honestly, like if and when like things grow like beyond like the 100 followers and stuff, because still slowly working towards that. That's still slowly happening, but I definitely love to like test out the Twitch integration for the game, like with more people like in the community, because that would be pretty sick. Though that would depend on like things like materializing, if that makes sense. Anyway, the project is back open again. Again, the content browser is not docked into the bloody thing. That's upsetting me. But we will. I need to check the output log. I didn't. I'm having. Yeah, that's an idea. It's an idea mostly for the future. Definitely when things are built up a lot more, because like it's like having like playing a game, testing the Twitch integration is fun, but it's only more fun when you have like enough people around. Oh, whoops. Shift F1. It was Shift F1. Let's see. Will disable perception. Will disable perception. That's not right. Right, so what is going on? Right, so let's look at this. So this enemy, which is the flying enemy, it should also have the toggle. Yeah, activate AI perception is set to false. Right, that's fine enough. Neither of them should have their AI component active, or their AI perception component should not be active. Yeah, it is mostly a night, right? So even though the code, like both of their toggles are set to false, like it's both flagging up saying it will disable the AI perception, which is, yeah, that should be working. However, it doesn't seem to actually want to disable. I feel like I'm going to have to do it direct, like, one thing I don't want to have to do, I want to just do it with the booleans rather than, like, with the actual value being returned, rather than, you know, saying, if this is true, then set this to false. If this is true, set this to true. If this is false, set this to false. And the like. But it feels like I'm going to have to try the direct route. Kind of. It's actually mildly frustrating that this is kind of taking a while to get through. Hold on a moment. Anyway, sorry about that. So this is just like unless wait a minute. Hold on. There might be something I'm doing wrong. It definitely is something that I'm doing wrong here. I've just realized. I might have realized what's going on. Fun fact, I was trying to summarize another possible game for you to check out, and I reached the chat word limit. Oh god. Oh no. Right, AI. Another possible game I could. Oh yeah, no, I I have it, but I haven't played it since last year, and I like get perception component. However, since it's a co-op game with similarities, so several enemies might not fit, but it's still taking a look at various. Yeah, no. I can understand. Like, I need to play it more. I definitely need to play it more. Right. So now I'm remembering. So one. Okay, so I managed to split that message into two. Good. Cool. Yeah, but I can understand. Like, I definitely need to play it more. But yeah, as I was saying, the main thing that I remember is, of course, a lot of the interaction with, like, the perception component is through, like, get perception component. So setting the dominant sense on target perception update and the like. So, by that logic, if I get perception component and then set it active to whatever it is, this should work. Hopefully this should work. I hope. Oh, I hope. I want it to be the thing that works because this has been racking my brain somehow for so long. So I did get the gift of the prophecy when I jokingly said it would take. It did, but it didn't take 2 hours to compile. It it took me 2 hours to figure out what was going on. This is so sad. Alexa, play the bass boosted Wheel of Fortune theme 10 hours. Wait, did I? Right, so I regen those, and then. Right, I need to actually rebuild the project modules. Right, so in terms of like. Right, it's gonna take its few moments. Make a Sans Undertale fight and scratch. Good news. I'm officially out of game suggestions for you to try and take inspiration from. For now. For now. For now. I say for now. We are... We're waiting for it to reload now. This is taking its time. So, my idea of interacting with other enemies, my idea for, like, basically drawing from Spyro, you know, I recently just got the Mega Man Zero and ZX collection on Switch, and bro, the combat is so fast-paced, older emulators really didn't do it. Honestly, I haven't fully completed all of them. I completed the original Mega Man Zero. I got through a bit of Mega Man Zero 2, and I tried... Let me examine all, what, 200... Oh, God. Anyway, as I was saying, Mega Man Zero and ZX, love how the games feel. I, at one point, was so gung-ho on, like, taking inspiration from, from Mega Man Zero and ZX. Like, I was so gung-ho on taking inspiration from them. Multiple times I tried to make games like them, but I gave up on them because I was younger and I was still in college, not in university. And I didn't really know how to do too much of game dev at the time. But I could do it, like, it's a lot more possible now in terms of what I know, but... Kind of, yeah. Like a Zerg Strike Gunvolt. Or the curse what? No, I don't want to think of Mighty Number 9. I don't want to think of Mighty Number 9. Never. Never, never, never. So wait, what's the genre I'm thinking with this? So, like, I was going through all my... Like, I was wanting to... Like, in terms of the project that I'm currently making, like, that's an idea for another, project I could make, but for the one I'm currently working on, I'm trying to make a PS1 style platformer, like Spyro and Crash and whatnot, but like a collectible platformer and the like. Bubsy will get... No, not Bubsy, but Croc and the Legend of the Go... Yeah, no, that game... The Croc and the Legend of the Gobos is getting a... remaster? Yeah, no, yeah. But yeah, no, that... Yeah, it's getting... I love not you. You could play Gobbo, Croc, and you could just play it with one hand. but you like, to be fair, but it is pretty neat that some old games are getting like remasters and re-releases. It's where's the Xenoblade Chronicles mute? It is a mix between. Hold on, let me check because it is the nighttime stuff. We are on Gormot from Xenoblade Chronicles 2 right now. But it is a mix between 1, 2, 3, and X in this video. But it is the nighttime music because I wanted something a little more calm today. Yeah. Some, like, because a lot of... But yeah, now that I've gotten things all compiled and stuff again, my brain keeps getting distracted, because, there... Right, so hopefully now... Hopefully now that I've gotten that sorted out, it should... It still does it! What do you mean? This is kind of... I'm trying to understand what's So, are you going for something 90s rad? Are you thinking more modern sensibilities? Of course, I'm gonna go for like good controls, no jank no jank camera. But in terms of visual style, I am going for like the low poly stuff, like the low poly PS1 look. My buddy, Power Streamer, I'm sorry in advance. Not sorry that it... What do you mean? Oh god, you've done your research. Oh god, no. Oh, No, you haven't done your research. You clipped. That should... I swear to God. Let me think. Let me look this up. UE5 disable perception. Is there a way to disable AI perception at runtime? Okay, right, so... Are you also going to go for low poly models with equivalent level of detail? You know, something to think about, actually, because I know... Like, because I know, like, back... Like, maybe, because I feel like... For the sake of authenticity, that would be very cool to do. Like, it would be a very cool thing to have, like, what Spyro 3... Like, not Spyro 3, but all the Spyro games did. Where, like, everything would be rendered with a considerably lower level of detail at distance. And then as you sort of flew closer to it, it would just sort of, like, render them at the... Like, with the higher levels of detail. You know, for what the PS1 was capable of handling at the time. That would be a cool thing. Also, what they did with, like, the little like wind lift things, where they just basically implemented those to essentially act as a loading area, so unloading one area and loading in another. or loading in the things from one area and loading out the things from another, which would be pretty cool. So I'll be honest, I was more thinking, but this is a far better example. Oh yeah, no, yeah, like Super Mario 64 does things like on that level too, but I love how the Spyro games did like level of detail and like rendering things from a distance, because it made it possible to, like, in terms of like having the lower level of detail, it made it possible to have more on screen, but at the same time did so in a way that didn't put the system under too much pressure. If I had to consider a bad example of doing this kind of thing in modern gaming, is Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. Pokemon Scarlet and Violet is the main example I'm thinking of, considering the fact that the whole of the Paldea region is basically loaded in at all times. Like, the entire bloody island is basically loaded in at all times, and I don't think there was ever any optimization put into, like, having things at a distance. Tony Hawk Pro Skater 5. Oh god, no. Oh god, no. Like, I've never played it, but I know of what the hell happened with that game. It's... day one patches, anyone? But yeah, right. I'm gonna have to go for a different approach with disabling the AI perception. The content drawer. Why is the content drawer here? I think I actually... Oh, whoops. Day one patches. Any plans on the story so far? Not, like... Not too much, though I am trying to think of stuff, because my main character for the game, I've made, like, a test, like, I've made an attempt at making a model before, if I can find, that's, right, so, game, that's not it, characters, temp model, he should be here. Like, I haven't, like, added, like, textures and materials to it yet, but it's gonna be, like, a little rat person. But I made this in Blender, like, a few months back, and I was pretty happy with, like, making it at the time. Like, it's fully rigged as well. I fully rigged it, too, but I haven't made, like, all the textures and stuff, because the thought of, like, UV unwrapping and stuff would be terrifying. Reggie's Radical Rat Adventures. That could, you know, I'll write it down. I'll probably not as, like, the main idea, but could be, yeah. Reggie's. Yep. Like, this is like a more long-term thing, like, slowly working on it, which it would be pretty cool to, like, actually get all of this done, because, you know, it's something that I have been, like, slowly working. Super important suggestion, make it do a Fortnite default. No. No! I will not condemn my glorious creation to do Fortnite, even though I play Fortnite. Even though I play Fortnite, I will not suggest... I would not... To be fair, the dance is from Scrubs anyway. The dance is from Scrubs anyway. Like, important thing to note, it's from Scrubs anyway, so... Oh, I've lost OBS. Include secret talismans that you collect to unlock emotes per level, and if you collect all of them, you insta-kill the final boss. I'll, I'll keep that. I'll keep that in mind. I'll keep it in mind. Like you didn't have to find all the Jinjos for the Jinjonator from Banjo-Kazooie, but it was kind of involved with that. But right. Another approach I'm needing to consider now, get perception component, set sense enabled. It hasn't fully loaded the thing, so I'm just typing this in now, but UAI sense. Static class. And then right. I'll keep both the lines there, but with a dab. With a So you're wanting something that takes itself seriously, or something that feels like it knows it's a game? Honestly, good question. Like, because the tone and everything is just, like, definitely would just inform a lot of things going forward. Because I know... Because I'm trying to think of something, like, in particular, like... Because there's a few that I know of, like, from way back when, that were very sort of, like, heavily, like, their humor and their tone was very based on the fact that they were self-aware that things were a game. Like, I'm thinking on the lines of, say, like, Conker's Bad Fur Day, maybe, to a degree. Yeah, Salmon Max levels of... I like Salmon Max. Salmon Max is great. I really want to play, like, the Salmon Max games on stream. Like, I'm not sure about, like, the old, like, the original, like, Salmon Max Hit the Road game, but I do have, like, the remasters, like, the remakes of all the Telltale games. So Save the World, Beyond Time and Space, and, the Devil's Playhouse. I have all three of the re-releases for those. So, like, if I ever wanted to just play those games on stream, I definitely would. It'd be pretty cool to do. Totally not safe for work, but I've always wanted to try the Leisure Suit Larry games because of the aesthetic. I'm aware of them. I'm aware of the games. I know that they exist. Yeah, like, aesthetic-wise, yeah. Like, not necessarily because of the gameplay or the humor or the writing and stuff, but definitely, like, because of how things, like, looked. Definitely, yeah. Like, in terms of, like... Hold on, I need to look something up real quick. Oh gosh. Oh no, Zazel. What have you done? Zazel, what are you doing? Ouch. That's itch. Right. Oh. You found something there, Zazel? Right, anyway, we need to compile the code again. So we're closing the engine and we're closing Rider once again. This is... So... Right, so enemies that run away, enemies that interact with other enemies. I'm trying to think of what else. Of course, there's enemies that spawn other enemies, um, which is another thing I've thought of, or from other games like Spyro and the like. I mean, to be fair, enemies that spawn other enemies is a fairly common thing. So I'd be kind of surprised if I've seen the clip from some YouTuber playing it a while ago, but I don't remember who or much about the game. Alright, alright. But, like, like, enemies that spawn other enemies is a fairly common trope. So I'm surprised that I'm surprised that I hadn't considered that before. Though, definitely something that I'll, look into, like, a bit down the line. Just include Malus as Monado for no literal room in the secret room and never address it. Oh god, no. And reminding me that Malos just has a Monado. Oh god. Oh god, it'll be fun playing 2 on stream because we get to hear oh fuck, I just got another flashback to another YouTuber playing a different, more kind of game. Oh, do tell. I had that game erased from my memory. Oh boy. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Yay, Sato Marsh. At night. I've seen RT games play Super Seducer, and that game made me so uncomfortable that I just closed YouTube. I have not seen this. I'm gonna be honest. Just say, am I all right to have not seen him play Super Seducer? Am I sparing myself by having not seen him play it, or do you think I should watch him play it? Just for the funsies. Because now I'm curious about what you think. I'll try and find a few clips, assuming it wasn't in a compilation video. Right. Oh, ow. But yeah, no, God. Back to the whole level of detail thing, because I mentioned Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, and I feel like I just need to talk about it now because like it's a 13-minute video, so I'll just DM it to you. Just a warning, mentally prepare. Okay, cool. I'll watch that after stream, and I'll let you know how it goes because I'll have the time. Uh, oh, good lord. Either I'll message you to let you know how it goes, or I'll talk about it on stream tomorrow when I'm playing Kingdom Hearts 2, and just say, yeah, so it went like this. Okay, so hopefully, if this works, I can switch back to, like, this window now. Hopefully, if this works, then the enemy should not detect me because I am setting the AI sense to just be, like, inactive. Like, the sight sense should be inactive now. Unless I do something wrong, in which case, but... Like, if the sight sense has already been configured, then it should work. Let's get close. It's working. It finally did it. Yay! That took like 2 hours because of all the trying to figure out what was going on and why things weren't being flagged and all that jazz. Listen, I kid you not, my memory has erased the clips I have seen. All I remember is who was playing it, and it has made me very uncomfortable. Okay, I'll take your word for it. But finally, we have it so that the enemy cannot see the player if that thing is toggled off. And if I go back into edit mode and I toggle the Boolean on, and I run up to them, and they will now chase me. Oh yeah, also I fixed the thing where if you walk too close to the enemy, it will just go back into patrol mode. I don't know what was happening with that. It will now just, like, stay in position when it's just there. But yeah, that is working now. That took way too long. Oh god. Sorry, man, I gotta go. Have a good stream. No, it's fine. Like, thanks for stopping by, even if it was for a little. I'll be streaming Kingdom Hearts, tomorrow. Well, I guess today now, but tomorrow. So if you're stopping by then see you then. But if not, have a good time. Have a good night. See you around. But yeah, that's finally working. That took ages to get sorted out. It is mildly upsetting that it took that long, but oh, this is the acoustic for Beyond the Sky from Xenoblade 1. Ah. It only took 2 hours and not 3. But at least it works. Right. So my main point was like I was trying to fix a small thing, and then I was gonna try and move on adjusting like stuff with the player, like how the player feels to like control and move around, and possibly work on the other idea I had for like I'll plan out the behavior tree for them like running, or for like the enemy that runs away, because I was also going to try and think about how I'm gonna do attacks for like the test enemies for now. But But that was... Hmm. Do, 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 do. Oh god, now I'm thinking of... I don't know if I already wrote this down on my list of ideas. I need to check. Can I... Is there a thing that I can use to find it on the page? Yep, find a note. Oh yeah, no, I already wrote it down a while back. I already wrote it down a while back to play the Mega Man Zero and ZX games on stream as like a stream idea. So I already have that in place, which is pretty bloody cool. I also have another drawing idea that like we kind of that I kind of or it kind of popped up during the I think during the previous Kingdom Hearts stream. It was something to do with Riku. It would be funny to draw. It won't be Buff Riku. No, because that's already a thing that exists. And Nick was the one who introduced me to that, which is funny. He's the one that introduced me to the fucking Buff Riku picture. Actually, I'll copy this image because this is finished work. Hi, Heater. How was worky? How was work? I was also just about to explain about Buff Riku. Real chill today. That's good. That's good, Heater. That's good. Because Zazel, Zazel and anyone else watching back, you may or may not know about this, so I'm gonna show this to you for a brief moment. Behold the absolute majesty that is Buff Riku. Yes. This is Buff Riku. He's so buff. He's so fucking strong. Holy. This is the ancient vessel from 2. We'll go back to Alfeto Valley. He is so buff. Anyway, that's it. But yeah, we finally got the thing working so that I can toggle, like, disabling the enemy AI perception. So, like, okay, not what I expected to see today, but hey, beggars can't be choosers, as they say. Yeah, no, you never know. So, also, Heater, I went over some ideas, because there were some ideas I was thinking of while I was, like, waiting for code to compile and stuff. I'll go back into Clip Studio. I minimized it. Whoops. Oh, wait, that's Rider. Right. So, I already noted that I have enemies that chase the player. So, what if, like the Spyro games, I have an enemy that's just kind of stood still, cowering, or that it runs away? So enemies that run away. So either the enemy is staring at the player as they're near them, or when they approach them, they run away. I drew a circle with an S because I was using Spyro as an example, and I was not drawing Spyro from memory, so I did that. Also, on the same note, like, I was using, like, the cat wizards from, like, the one level in Spyro 3 as an example, but enemies that interact with other enemies. I drew another example, like, where you just have an enemy grabbing a smaller one that just bowls it out, throws it at the enemy, or throws it at the player. So having an enemy that just grabs a smaller enemy and throws... Like, I want more, like, enemy-to-enemy interaction, not, like, indirect interaction, which I... Who is the cat guy? I like him. I couldn't remember the exact appearance of the cat wizards from Spyro 3, so I drew my interpretation of the cat wizards from Spyro 3. Because I was trying to use, like, my example of enemies interacting with other enemies, where the cat wizards can just make enemies larger. It's the evil boy kisser me. Oh, God. Oh. He's a boy kisser. No. It's the evil boy kisser. Does not kiss boys. I like him more. But yeah, I was explaining about, like, how, like, Spyro 3 has enemies that interact with some of the other enemies directly. I want to try and do that as well for my project later down the line. Not ideas that I'm implementing now, per se, but, like, ideas that I can implement once I'm able to sort of, like, flesh things out and build upon it. And then you can't tell, but I'm kind of, like, waving my arms around as I'm explaining this, just like, yeah, I really want this. But you can tell from my voice that I really want this. Reagan code. No! Imagine for a Halloween, like, PNG, I just, like, have my PNG dress up as Reagan. I wouldn't do that, but that would be funny. It'd just be like when I cosplayed as Reagan last May. It'd be like when I cosplayed as Reagan back last May at Comic-Con. It kind of sucks that, like, in terms of money, I'm not able to afford to go to Comic-Con this time around, because, like, I always make it a point to try and just sort of be there to hang out with friends and whatnot, and just do stuff and cosplay and see what they have there, but money is kind of difficult right now, so I cannot go to Comic-Con this time around, but that's okay, because I can save for May. So I'd have more time to try and find a new cosplay anyway. Either that, or if I can't find a new one before then I just reuse an old one again. Just like I do. Just like I always do. Well, not that I always do, but I do it sometimes. I do it sometimes when I'm running out of ideas or I can't find a way to do one that I really want to cosplay, if that makes sense. But, right. So... I do want to plan out the behavior, like, as a little thing before stream ends, because I know it's not too long until stream ends. I do want to plan out the behavior tree in the blackboard for, like, the enemy that retreats from the player, even though that's not my main concern. So, like, it's not my main concern at the moment. I just want to have this planned out for the future. So, new folder... Howard enemy. Just as my sort of, like, outline for this, it will just be called Coward Enemy. So... So, Artificial Intelligence, Behavior Tree, BT underscore Coward Enemy. And then we're going to have the blackboard for it as well. Because it will, of course, need this BB underscore Coward Enemy. Right, so... in terms of, like, what I want this enemy to do, it's of course selected the bloody thing, hasn't it? It's... right, whereas it's selected the grounded enemy. There we go. Right. I was thinking, why were there blackboard keys, like other blackboard keys here? And then I remembered it just set it automatically to another one. Right. Sorry. Anyway. Of course, I do want the current state to still be present. But I need to remember what I had to type in specifically. So, powered enemy, grounded enemy. So, current state, I specifically had to type in E enemy AI states in order for it to actually register. It'll just take a moment. There we go. It's registered that one, so it's actually able to get the values from that enum I defined within the code. But I need to remember, because sometimes I do forgo. Sorry about that. I am simply human as well. I'm not a machine. I'm just waiting for it to load the stuff up. Source. It's in public? Enemy AI states, yeah. So, right. So, I may actually want to add another state to the enemy AI states enum because at the moment there isn't a thing which indicates that it's in a retreating state. So if we dip into the code, so this is the enum for. Okay, well I'll probably be off to binge some TF2 vids now. Good luck with the rest of the stream and making of the game. Thank you ever so much, Stazel. Once again, thank you so much for stopping by, and also thank you for the ideas that you've been throwing out during the stream. It's been pretty good to hear some of the ideas that you have, or what could be different enemies or different mechanics and stuff. It's always nice to hear other people's perspective on it. So thank you, and have a good rest of your night. Right, so so this is the enum for the enemy AI states, and I'm not gonna get too yeah, but catch you on the flip side. But anyway, I'm not gonna get too into the specifics of things with enums and the like, because that would take a little bit. Basically, enums are a defined thing where you can have different values that are named. So you can have for example, an enum that says, oh, walking, jogging, sprinting, and you could say that that's setting different move speed types. Or in the case of the AI states, this is passive, so are they passive? Attack, are they attacking? Frozen, are they frozen or stunned or dazed or whatnot? Investigating, are they investigating a point in an area within the map to sort of check for the player or whatnot? And dead, well, that's self-explanatory, they're dead. But what we don't have here at the moment, this is literally a minor change. I don't know why I'm going into this grand explanation of things. The only change we need to make is add a right, no, we need two states. We need cower, so maybe we don't need the cower, but I think it's necessary. EAIS_retreat. And this one is just named retreat. And there we go. So those those two lines of code, this is kind of taking its moment for some reason, probably because it's doing the whole loading project process in the background. But these two lines basically just add the two new states, saying, oh, one of these states that we could possibly put the enemy into is cowering, and the other one is just retreating. So maybe for this coward enemy, we can specifically use the cower and retreat, states, rather than like the normal passive and whatnot. Or it can be passive from a distance, but when the player gets like to a certain distance, like when they can see the player and they get to a certain distance, then they go into the cower state, and when they get too close, they run away until they find a safe spot, or they follow like a path to the end. I would have to sort of like try and specifically plot this out, but this is my idea for things at the moment. So right, once again, I'm gonna close the engine, close the code, because we need to rebuild project files again. And at least this doesn't take an eternity to do. Like, I can't wait until I get to, like, all of the Xenoblade games on stream. It would be pretty sick just to share everything with people. Gonna be right, so we generated those files, and then I need to do the thing and actually open the project. Keep getting distracted. It's not good. That shouldn't take too long. Oop, I didn't. Oop, whoopsie daisy. But today's been a nice little day for like this for game deving and stuff. Even though it took me a while to fix that one thing, but while I was at it, we did like talk about plenty of things, which you know it's perfectly fine. That is opening now. Wow. Right. Okay, project is back open. Right. Okay, so, the one little thing that I was doing, so trying to come on, think. Yeah, no, the coward AI, so coward enemy. So in behavior tree, coward enemy. So of course I'll say selector because this needs to be a selector. Then we have sequence, and then we add a decorator, and it will be a blackboard based one. So is state passive. So if the state is passive, then it will be this one. I need to actually blackboard key current state is equal to passive. Then sequence it'd be another. To be fair, I could just I can duplicate this rather than having to constantly right click and do stuff. I'll just duplicate it, but it will be set to cower is state cower. So if state is cower, then they will just be there. They'll cower, but they'll also like rotate to face the player, like keeping an eye on them basically. And then the last one that we would need is state retreat. And then we will set it to retreat. So state passive, that's basic. It's essentially a very easy one where we just have it wait. So we'll just put the wait note there. Rotate to face blackboard entry. Then we still need to have so this is the kind of the mistake that I made with naming it, like having the name of the thing be attack target. It really should be player target. Unless I actually did make it player target. Let's see. Flying enemy. I made it attack target, right? So that was kind of a mistake on my part. You know, slight little thing where I wasn't really thinking about, like, this kind of enemy at the time. Right. Right, so once again, I'll need to go into the code to quickly change a thing. I think this would be in the enemy itself. I think this is in the enemy class. I'm not 100% certain. Or this is in the enemy controller and I'm kind of goofing again. Enemy CPP, set as passive, set status attack. Yeah, no, it's yeah, it's here. It's right. So what I need to do is instead of calling it attack target, I need to call it player target. I'm not showing the code at the moment, but just to point out, it is now being changed to player target. I'm only doing this briefly because I will be closing the code again and the editor just to sort this one thing out. Because, you know... Right, so once again, delete those 3 folders. And I do love how quick getting the project back open like this way is, rather than just waiting for it to compile like over the span of an eternity. Open the project. Oh dear. Whoops. should be back open in a moment or two. The bit that always takes a little bit of time is just the okay, that should be... Whoop, I did not click into the editor. Oh, there we go, that was being a bit funny. So of course now I need to go into the behavior trees and change it to player target instead of attack target, but this is a bit more... So, change that to player target. And then grounded enemy. Player target. Right, that's all set. So... And then in coward enemy, I was doing this. And I need to actually add the object, so player target, it's an object, but it needs to be set to an actor. So actor object reference. So it rotates to face the player target. Now, the thing that I'm wanting to plan out with the whole retreating enemy. So if I go into Clip Studio Paint, this will be the last little thing that I explain before I end stream, because we're about a minute or so away, but I'll just explain this anyway, just for the sake of it. So when the enemy wants to retreat along like its little defined patrol path, or defined retreat path, it should only do this, like, if hasn't reached end. So, what this means is that I don't want the enemy to just, like, try running along its, like, retreat path if they've already run to the end of it. So what I want to do in the behavior tree is that I want there to be a flag that says, like, so a boolean that's like B has retreated. And if this is, so if false, retreat, if true, stay. But that's only if like they haven't retreated yet. But anyway, with that being said, it is now 1 o'clock. So I'm going to call stream there. So to those who joined, to everyone watching things back on the VOD, whether it's here on Twitch or on YouTube, depending on when you're watching this, thank you ever so much for showing up to stream. I really appreciate you all being here. Next stream will of course be tomorrow, though I guess it is today now, but tomorrow it will be returning to Kingdom Hearts 2. We are getting closer and closer to the end of the game now, which is a terrifying thought, because we've got Xemnas to fight now, and it's not just like a single phase thing, there are multiple phases to this. But anyway, I will see you all then, so thanks once again, and I'll see you all again in the next one. Bye-bye!